Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Monday, the 29th day of January 2024, Monday of the fourth week of the year, the fourth week in Ordinary Time, and it is the beginning of Catholic Schools Week. So coming to you this morning from morning drop-off here at our school, the Franciscan School. The line is still coming in this morning, all the way around, wraps all the way around the parking lot, and then our fabulous, fantastic fifth graders who open up doors, welcoming our students in to school every day here at the Franciscan School. A glorious morning, finally, not as hot, not as humid, a little bit more temperate, beautiful morning to begin Catholic Schools Week, honoring Catholic education in the United States in all of its very forms, in all of its many ways. Today, though, again, there is no Mass. There is no Mass technically for, or no special celebrations for Catholic Schools Week in our Masses or lectionary, unfortunately. So we have to deal with what we have as the readings for today, which is basically the kingdom of David has arisen. Yes, David is king, but there's already dissension within his family, within his house, because again, David was not always such a great guy, even though again chosen by God to be king. And so now again, his son Absalom is starting a rebellion against him and trying to set up his own kingdom. And now there's a civil war happening with destruction and terror and everything else like that going on. And those who are supporting Absalom are trying to kill David. Absalom himself will end up dying again tragically, and again David's life never being the same because of it. Again, through all of this pain and all this sorrow that we hear again in this reading, again we're supposed to understand how God is going to use this and how God is going to still take that pain, that sorrow, the sadness, the despair, the disappointment, again who and what David is and what his family is, and again try to transform that, and indeed transform that into what it is that God is going to do to bring forth the Messiah. Again, all of this is is always the precursor to who it is that Jesus becomes for us, and who it is and why it is that Jesus becomes part of our lives. And so with that, we need to recognize the fact God does not always work with the greatest of things. God does not always work with the most perfect, with the most pious, with the most devout, with the most exact ways in which to get God's work accomplished. That gives always great hope to us, again, who fail in so many ways, and yet God can always use those failures and transform them into what God needs to be done to further God's plan and God's promises for us. In the Gospel today, we have the great experience where Jesus is along the sea of Lake Gennesaret, which is one of the other smaller seas that's part of Galilee, the Sea of Galilee. And again, there is a man, again, with another demon. Remember, Mark loves demons. He can't get away from them, it seems. And this demon, again, asked to be expelled. It's not just one demon, it's a host of demons. And this demon asked to be expelled into some pigs. Again, remember that Galilee was not just a Jewish area. It was the crossroads of many different cultures. And that's why you have swine herding, in what is now Israel and what is now a predominantly Jewish area, and though not all Jewish, in a lot of ways. And so these swine get these demons from this man, and they go over a cliff, and everyone's astounded by this. Again, how Jesus was able to do this. The thing about it is that this poor swine herder now has no income. He has no source to feed his family because Jesus just destroyed all of his swine, all of the herd of swine, and things like that. And again, Jews may be justified by saying, well, basically we're not supposed to eat them, and so that's why Jesus destroyed them. But again, this poor man has nothing to live on anymore. So what's Jesus going to do for this man? We never hear. So it's again one of these very strange kind of occurrences in the life of Christ and in the Gospels, in which again this great act is done to show Jesus' power and again his dynamism and what have you, but yet at the cost of another man's property. And so where does this leave us? Where do we go with this? Hard to say. Again, God uses all kinds of means. Maybe he did go back to this poor swine herder. It just isn't recorded, and did something to help his life out. We trust that God perhaps did that Jesus did that, because God would not abandon people to destitution. But it is always the sense in which God will work in ways that astound us and confound us, and basically are not in the way that we often think we should act and we should respond as human beings. But it is the way in which God responds that hope and trust and glory are revealed. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. And here is where our flag people have just put up our flags this morning. May the Lord give you his peace.